Hey everyone, welcome back in for another video. So I wanted to talk to everybody today about Chaos Space Marines and where they're at right now and where I'm hoping they're going to go to in the future. So I've loaded up Abaddon here, obviously. So there's some characters in like Chaos Space Marines within Warhammer 40,000 that have gotten new models. They've kind of stories been updated. They are doing things currently, but there's a long list of characters that either have never had a model in Warhammer 40,000 or don't have a model at all. So I wanted to go through some characters that I think could be new front runners for leading, Chaos Space Marines against the Imperium in the future, or who have storylines where I feel like they've kind of been left like open ended to the point where it's just like they were left at a point where they were doing something really important and it was going to have a huge effect on everything. And now it's just kind of been like, shrug your shoulders, don't know what's going on. Years have gone by now and nothing's happened. So obviously with Abaddon caused a great rift. His plans came to fruition. The new model is so crazy. Like, I have this model. I can't wait to paint it. But again, Abaddon's Abaddon. He's always doing stuff. He's scheming. I like where his story is going. So with Airman, who we have next up, obviously new model. I like this model a lot. In terms of the Thousand Sons, really after they kind of, I guess, fought Gillim in there for a bit, their story is really trailed off. Like, Airman was chasing Yanid, the Eldar, like new kind of demigod, whatever you want to call it, and in one of the battles, Yanid restored a bunch of the Thousand Sons to flesh and blood, and they kind of look to Airman and are like, "What's going on, brother?" And then they all get killed, which he was not happy about. But he's found a way to restore the Thousand Sons, and that's kind of been left in this, like, I don't know, point, and it's been so long where it just feels odd. But again, in terms of the storyline with Magnus and everything, they've just kind of fallen to the back end, which is fine. It's going to happen with Chaos Space Marines. There's a lot of moving parts to it. In terms of the World Eaters, you've got Karn the Betrayer here. I hate this model. I hate this model so much. I can't. I don't know what it is. I have friends who have been like, but why, Brad? And it's just like, I don't know. It's not for me. The posing, I'm not a big fan of. I wanted Karn to be huge, right? Like, Karn should be massive, I think. And the axe just isn't big enough. Like, this axe is supposed to be Angron's old axe. This is a baby axe, right? It's just, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. And I'm concerned with the new Berserkers because I think they might be in this style, which I'm not too stoked on. But regardless, if the World Eaters get redone, Karn will come to the forefront again. I'm sure there's going to be some crazy stuff with Karn coming in, destroying planets, doing his World Eater things, and that's good. It's a move in the right direction for the World Eaters. Let's hope we get some new stuff this summer. So next up, we have the new model for Fabius Bile. If you haven't read the Fabius Bile trilogy, go read it. It's crazy what he does in those books. He should have, honestly, his own supplement codex where the creations of Bile should be an entire codex. Within the books, they talk about squads that follow him, where essentially there's Emperor's children who are addicted to the drugs that he makes because he makes the best drugs. And they have kind of their own style of sonic weapons. There's like a whole biker squad that follows him. You could make models for these units or even convert them yourself, but it would be a lot cooler, I think, if Fabius got a supplement. That probably would never happen. But in terms of the storyline, they leave it at a point where Fabius is like one of the main players in Warhammer 40,000 at the end of that book. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to go into it too much, but Fabius should be in White Dwarf every month with what Fabius is doing, because he's got his fingers in everything. And in terms of even the Emperor's Children, where he's going to play such a huge role, I feel, in Warhammer 40,000. But for now, again, it's all quiet with what's going on with Fabius. So now I just covered the four characters that have new models that kind of, this is where their storyline is at right now within Warhammer 40,000. Again, I feel like of the four, Fabius is really the wasted one here, where even in the, hopefully, I don't think it's going to happen, but in the new codex, they really flesh out Fabius a lot. But again, even a thing that should be done is there should be supplement codexes for every single one of the legions. Like, where's my Iron Warriors? Where's my Night Lords supplement codex? You're making them for everything else for Space Marines, but not for Chaos. I don't know. I don't understand it, but we're going to start going through characters that don't have new models, or that don't have models at all that I think should come forward and play a bigger part within the Chaos Space Marines and the Warhammer 40,000 storyline. So we've got Huron Blackheart. So for this, the old model's been taken off of Games Workshop, which gives me hope that a new model is coming out. There's also this new book coming out with what Huron's up to right now. So I think that we'll probably get a new model for the summer. The model should be just wild. I want it to be epic, and I want it to be well done. And I've high hopes for the new Huron model. If we do get one, I think we'll get one. But I'm going to listen to this book. I would like to comment about what Huron's up to, because I've read all the books for Huron Blackheart. But again, we've got a book coming out in like a week, so I'll have to make a supplementary video about what Huron is doing, because we're about to find out next week. So the next person I have up is not a person, it's a legion. It's the Alpha Legion. So the Alpha Legion is arguably the greatest threat to the Imperium. The Alpha Legion is everywhere. They've got spies. It's again, their home planet was never destroyed in the Horus Heresy. No one knew where it was, right? You don't know how big the Legion is. They are, I think, the largest threat to the Imperium, and they're just not utilized at all. They appear in books periodically, right? It'll turn out, oh, it was the Alpha Legion, or they'll end up fighting the Alpha Legion a certain chapter or whatever, but they're really just kind of there, right? And I would love to see a book, or again, a supplementary codex where the Alpha Legion just, it turns out, has taken over an entire segmentum and no one even realized it, where they've implanted their agents all over the place and have now turned this area, right? That's cool. That's the Alpha Legion at its heart. But hopefully at some point we'll see more from the Alpha Legion. So the next thing I've got up is the Warbears. So I'm saying the Warbears here, where the Alpha Legion really is more a cohesive, united legion, where if they came back, they would come back in force. But the Warbears, we're more going to talk about Erebus and Corphaeron here. So these two, like, schmucks, basically, I don't know, they're always fighting over the stupidest stuff. But Corphaeron is about to come back in the next Dawn of Fire book, and I'm hopeful that book will have Corphaeron doing some crazy stuff. Hopefully the Warbears Legion comes back fully, because it may literally just be Corphaeron on a planet, like having a rebellion with a small Warbears force. It might not be the Legion as a whole. So we'll have to see with the Dawn of Fire book what's going on with Corphaeron. And then Erebus, again, both of them are members of the Dark Council that lead the Warbears. The Legion was fairly whole after the Horus Heresy, and they could pose a serious threat to the Imperium. But their whole thing is that the Dark Council does not get along at all, so they can't really be cohesive at all. But maybe in the future we'll be able to see some more stuff from the Warbears. We'll have to see what this next book has in store for them. And again, you've got Lorgar kicking around, but he's hiding from Korax. He's in a room. He's just waiting it out right now. So the next up, we've got Lord Commander Eidolon. So Eidolon has appeared in many of the Emperor's Children, like, themed books that have come out, where it not necessarily it's an Emperor's Children book. And I don't want to, again, spoil anything for anyone, but he's popped up a bunch of times and is always leading some of the Emperor's Children, or represents a huge portion of the Legion. And this is the 30K model. Where's my 40K Eidolon? You could have, hopefully when the Emperor's Children Legion is redone, bring out an Eidolon model to lead them, right? Like, let's get a huge Eidolon who's shrieking. You could make an insane 40K model for Eidolon, and have him leading a huge swath of the Emperor's Children. But I don't think we'll see that for a really long time, unfortunately. But this would be a resurgence of the Emperor's Children, which would only happen again when we redo the whole range and we get a Demon Fulgrim Primarch model. So fingers crossed we see that at some point. So next up, I've got Decimus from the Night Lords. So if you haven't read the Night Lords trilogy, read the Night Lords trilogy. I'm not really going to talk too much about this character, other than this is a character that could lead the Night Lords again and possibly unite them, and would actually breathe some fresh air into the Night Lords, where they've been kind of the pirate war band They're split up. Very rarely do they meet, and when they do, they're legion strength. They've got huge amounts of troops left, ships, but they operate very independently. Decimus could change that. The last time Decimus is mentioned is in the Night Lords trilogy, and it's been a very long time since that book was written. It was kind of left open-ended. I'd love to see that story continued and see an actual model from Games Workshop. So next up, we've got Lucius the Eternal. I've been talking about the Emperor's Children. Lucius would come back with Eidolon. We may end up getting a new Lucius model before we see anything else from the Emperor's Children, just because that's an easy thing for them to bring out a new model and be like, hey, look, Lucius got some new rules. Here's a cool new model. Emperor's Children fans, you're good for another couple years, right? So he has a newer book out that, if you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. It keeps you up to date with what Lucius is up to. And it's pretty actually funny with what's going on with him and his ship. But again, won't go into too much detail about that. But I would like to see Lucius come back and really lead a portion of the Emperor's Children and do something crazy. We could have him go up against Marinus Calgar. You could have him go up against the Dark Angels, have him come back and fight someone important, and possibly have them kill him, and then he takes over the body. Maybe, like, there's stuff we can do with Lucius, and I feel like it's very much wasted at the moment. So the last character on this list is Luther. So for those of you that don't know, in the Dark Angels Codex, the new one, I think it's been out for like a year now, but Luther escaped. Okay, I don't think that's a spoiler, because if you haven't gotten that new codex by now, you're not going to. So Luther was locked up on the rock since the Horus Heresy and has now escaped. That's the biggest news ever, and it was such a side note in the codex, and for a lot of people, it just went by that they had no idea that that had happened. I think they're setting it up for Luther to come back with, some of the fallen, and maybe the Lion wakes up to fight Luther, right? That sounds like a thing that makes sense and is a good setup. So I would like a 30K Luther model, right? A 30K Luther model would be great, but then a 40K one where he's just absolutely gotten huge from the power of chaos. I would like that as well, but we'll have to see what the future has in store for Luther. I haven't listen to the newest audio novel for Luther. That's again up in the queue for things I'm going to listen to soon. But let me know in the comments what you thought of this list of characters / legions. Are these all things you'd like to see, like the Chaos Space Marines in the future? Do you think I missed something? Was there a character? Is there a legion that you think, or a chapter perchance, that could take a more commanding role in Warhammer 40,000? With the new codex coming out soon, I think we're going to start seeing them come back again. But it's just, I'm more fearful that over time, again, they kind of get lost in the sauce, which I guess is going to happen. It's always Imperium versus, but Chaos is at the front, I think. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that sub button. It helps me out so much, and I'll see everybody soon.